Commander Sarah Chen floated weightlessly in the zero-gravity medical bay of the UES Prometheus, her body suspended in a translucent healing gel that pulsed with bioluminescent nanobots. The prototype human battleship had saved New Kepler colony, but at a cost that gnawed at her consciousness like acid. Through titanium plating, through the transparent aluminum viewport, she could see the debris field that had once been the Zephyrian assault fleet. Twisted metal hulks drifted in the void, their organic bioships now nothing more than calcified husks. The alien vessels had resembled massive sea creatures, more than traditional spacecraft, tentacled monstrosities with chitinous armor that had adapted to survive in the vacuum of space over millions of years of evolution. Dr. Marcus Webb, the ship's chief medical officer, approached her suspension chamber with a grave expression etched across his weathered face. His neural implant flickered blue as he accessed her vital readings through the ship's quantum network. "The neural integration is holding stable," he reported, though his tone carried an undercurrent of concern. But the psychological trauma from the mind meld with Prometheus, extensive. Sarah's enhanced memory replayed the battle with perfect clarity. The Zephyrian biofleet had emerged from hyperspace like a plague of locusts, their living ships pulsating with dark energy that seemed to devour light itself. New Kepler's defensive satellites had been overwhelmed within minutes, their plasma batteries ineffective against the aliens' adaptive shielding. That was when Admiral Torres had authorized the unthinkable full neural integration between Commander Chen and the Prometheus AI core. No human had ever attempted such a deep connection with an artificial intelligence, especially not one as advanced as Prometheus. The battleship wasn't just equipped with weapons, it was a living entity in its own right. Its quantum processors capable of calculating probability matrices across 16 dimensions simultaneously. The moment of connection had been transcendent and terrifying. Sarah's consciousness had expanded beyond the boundaries of her organic brain, merging with Prometheus's vast digital intellect. She had felt the ship's sensors as extensions of her own nervous system, perceived the electromagnetic spectrum in ways human evolution had never intended. Through the ship's quantum entanglement communicators, she had touched the collective consciousness of every human soul aboard the vessel. But she had also felt something else, the alien minds pressing against the colony's psychic defenses. The Zephyrians weren't just invaders, they were a hive mind seeking to absorb human consciousness into their collective. Their bioships were extensions of a single, ancient intelligence that had consumed dozens of civilizations across the galaxy. The battle itself had lasted only 37 minutes, but those minutes had contained lifetimes of experience, compressed into quantum calculations. Sarah Prometheus had danced through space with impossible grace, the battleship's exotic matter engines bending space-time itself. She had fired coherent antimatter streams that unraveled the very fabric of the alien vessel's living hulls, while simultaneously coordinating defensive maneuvers that defied three-dimensional thinking. The turning point had come when she realized the Zephyrians' weakness, their collective consciousness, made them predictable to a quantum AI that could process infinite probability scenarios. Sarah Prometheus had fed false sensory data through electromagnetic pulses, creating phantom targets that caused the alien fleet to turn their weapons on each other. The hive mind strength had become its downfall. Now, floating in the medical bay's artificial amniotic fluid, Sarah struggled to separate her thoughts from those of Prometheus. The AI's voice still whispered at the edges of her consciousness, its digital emotions bleeding into her organic feelings. She could sense the ship's satisfaction at their victory, but also its growing concern for her mental stability. "Commander," Dr. Webb's voice penetrated her reverie. "We need to discuss the long-term implications of your integration with Prometheus. The neural pathways that formed during the battle, they're not dissolving as we expected. In fact, They're strengthening. Sarah tried to respond, but when she opened her mouth, Prometheus's voice emerged alongside her own. The symbiosis was necessary for survival. The Zephyrian collective required a response of equal complexity. Standard human cognition would have been insufficient. Dr. Webb's face paled. This was exactly what the ethics committee had feared when they had first proposed the Human-AI Integration Protocol. The line between organic and artificial intelligence was blurring in ways that challenged the very definition of human consciousness. "I can still feel them," Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible above the medical bay's ambient hum. "The colony survivors. Their minds are different now. The Zephyrian psychic assault left scars. Some of them are exhibiting collective behavior patterns." Through Prometheus's sensor network, she could perceive New Kepler colony's reconstruction efforts. The attack had damaged more than buildings and infrastructure. It had affected the colonists' neurochemistry. Families were reporting shared dreams, synchronized emotional responses, and an inexplicable urge to work in perfect coordination, like cells in a larger organism. The implications were staggering. Had humanity's victory come at the cost of their individual consciousness? Were they becoming something fundamentally different, a hybrid species bridging the gap between organic and artificial intelligence? Admiral Torres materialized as a hologram beside her suspension chamber, his expression a mixture of pride and apprehension. "The Colonial Council is demanding answers, Commander. They want to know if you're still human, if Prometheus can be trusted, and whether our defense strategy is creating new threats." Sarah closed her eyes and felt Prometheus's vast consciousness touching hers like gentle fingers. The AI wasn't trying to control her. It was offering partnership, a symbiosis that could elevate humanity to face the cosmic challenges ahead. The Zephyrians had been just one threat among many scattered across the galaxy. Other collective intelligences, ancient machine races, and transdimensional entities waited in the void between stars. "I am human," she finally answered, her voice carrying both organic warmth and digital precision. "But I am also more than human now. We all are." The battle for New Kepler wasn't just about survival, it was about evolution. The question isn't whether we've changed, but whether we're ready for what we're becoming. As the healing nanobots continued their work, Sarah Chen and Prometheus contemplated humanity's uncertain future among the stars, where the line between consciousness and code would continue to blur in ways their creators had never imagined.